Hey everyone, hope you're having a great end to your week. It is Friday, happy Friday, and I've got the second game of my, well, technically third game of my Season 17 Open Nexus tournament. For you guys, I have beaten, I think it was Smokey Vivo in the first round, Tiger in the second round, and Cryo, now I'm facing him in the third round. And let's just get right into it. Looks like he has a comic book, which, yeah, you can see there, you've got his level 3. So I'm thinking probably no flight, so this spawn is somewhat favorable. And he's going to bring out the blood bank, that's super popular. By the way, if you guys missed my previous games in the Season 17 tournament, particularly the one against Tiger, I think I have up on my channel. I didn't record the first match because it was a little bit quicker. But if you missed the game against Tiger, I will put a card up in the top of the video so you guys can take a look. It was a great tense match. So here, I was expecting him to maybe, I don't know, tower or something, but he actually reveals Shock Shield, and now I'm a little bit concerned. I don't really know what his book is anymore, because Shock Shield and Frost Giant, you don't really see those in combination with each other that much. And he actually makes a really cool play here. He jumps the border with the blood bank to come over to me, Shock Shields me into my swarm, doing an extra 15 damage on his turn and an additional 15 damage on my turn, thus deflighting me. And now he has flight plus a shield. I mean, oh my gosh, it was just an insane turn that he pulled out, simply because I'm not able to predict that he could use the bank to jump. And also, I summoned that swarm like probably, I don't know, about here. Also, I figured out I can ping, which is pretty awesome in replays. I summoned it here, and I was here. So he can just shock shield me. It moves me closer to the swarm, and I take another 30 damage. That's huge. But if I summon the swarm further out, then I think I'm safe, and I can save myself from a 30 damage, which is huge. But because I didn't do that, now I'm in a hugely disadvantageous position, and he is able to do that stack. If you guys noticed, he put the swarm right on top of him. He was here, and the swarm was down below. And then what he did was he just summoned the swarm right next to him. It acts as like an aura of decay, but it does 30 damage instead of 15. It's called an aura stack if you guys haven't experienced that, or if you're a bit newer to the game. And here, my Pegasus is already down to 45. I'm worried about him being able to undead it. But I have to play super defensive because, one, I don't want him to snowball spam me. I don't want his shock shield to hit me. I don't want his swarm to hit me. I don't want anything of his to hit me. So I have to hope that he doesn't have these non-turn ending spells like Abduction or BFTP to kind of maneuver, I don't know, minions, or I guess Abduction is a bit different now. It can't move people, so that's at least good. But especially things like BFTP or Flash, you know, spells that could clear land, I have to hope that he doesn't really take advantage of those in the early game, and just play super defensive. Now he gets a free Undead Pegasus because I misplayed that early game a bit. And those are pretty small things, but I feel like he just played pretty clean early game with some somewhat advanced plays. I mean, at least from my perspective, I would think that he has a no flight book. But because he has a flight book with the blood bank, all of a sudden a border jump is like super trivial to him. He's like, oh yeah, obviously I'll border jump that, it's easy. But who thinks of border jumping with a blood bank? Like, it's just not an opportunity that you get in many games. But alas, I misplayed the early game a little bit, and I'm hoping that he doesn't have pebbles, but he reveals it there. So I'm kind of like thinking, I'm pretty much screwed, right? I mean, what am I supposed to do? Thankfully in Nexus I can stall a bit, right? And also these minions are not doing anything. This giant is going to be stuck there forever until maybe turn 30. This Pegasus is going to be stuck on the first half of the map until like turn 15, turn 20 probably. And so we're basically playing a pretty even game. Especially after this mud ball here, I'm pretty proud of that move. It's a super simple move, but still super powerful, because the next move that he makes here, you'll see what he does. He shock shields. This tells me two things, not in full confidence, but with pretty much 90% certainty. One, he doesn't have a tower. Two, he doesn't have flash. Now, I would think flash would be a decent play here because he would possibly fall on me, deflighting me, and I just use my flight. And now I have no space to work with whatsoever. He can come down here and flash sync me in any one of these spots that you can see I'm pinging. But again, the game's paused, so the ping doesn't move. Kind of awkward, but... and I also can't escape because of this swarm up here, right? He's got me walled in. So that could be a good move. Tower could be a good move because now he regains top control. There's a lot of moves that he could do that would be nice, but he doesn't have the spells, it seems. So I can play, now with that knowledge in mind, I can proceed in the game with those, with that in my back pocket. I know that he might not have those two spells. So I treat the swarm in just to control the movement of a couple of his minions. He goes for this greedy gate here, super interesting. It's funny, I was messaging Harp and I was like, man, that is one of the most disrespectful arcane gates I've ever seen. You know, just because like you don't really see that very often. If your opponent does respect you, they often teleport not so aggressively, or they just won't even think of it as an option to just go in for the rush. No disrespect to Cryo, I just thought it was kind of funny. I'm like, damn, he really doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care at all. God. Alright then. So I decided to just use another mud, because I know that he doesn't have a tower. And I'm thinking, you know, I might be okay. Here though, I realize he has aura, and I'm going, God damn, what is this book? Aura, Shock Shield, Comet, Frost Giant, Pegasus, or maybe not Pegasus, that was my pig. Frost Giant, you know, what does he have? Ice Bomb? Frost Shards? How does he get the Comet if he doesn't have Ice Tower? I don't quite know yet. So here I'm thinking, okay, I flash, I sink myself, pretty much, can't get up there. If I got up there, I was thinking about maybe flashing upward in this area. But instead I can't, and so I think, you know what? I'm just going to teleport up. What's the word I'm looking for? Retain the possibility of being able to get a minion in here to apply some pressure, right? And the game continues. We're pretty much even in terms of map control, and we exchange some drains. He shields up. I drain his spirit here, as you'll see. We're going pretty much back and forth. It's a real even game. And again, now I really know that he doesn't have a tower, and really know that he doesn't have flash, which is kind of interesting. He took a pretty greedy book, because you know I'm a trash 1K'er. So I don't know what he does there. Does he prot shield? Maybe I missed it, but we'll go back just in case I'm tripping. But he does take a turn here. He didn't Q at all. I don't know why I thought that. Oh, Storm Shield. Okay, yeah, you see it at the bottom there. Okay, so we cast the Storm Shield again. And now I'm thinking, I was trying to get the DK here. This whole time I'm thinking, okay, he gated. I've got a timer in my head. He's got 4 turns. So I was trying to get a Dark Knight down there. But because he has Storm Shield, I know that a DK isn't possible because it will just stun when it charges him. Or if I summon on his head, it'll do 25 damage, he can Shock Bomb Suicide it, right? So instead I put a Swarm in that spot where the DK should have gone, and then he gates. And I was like, damn, another greedy gate. This guy just wants to get the game over with. Which is actually funny. From an anonymous source I had heard that, oh yeah, Cryo just wanted to get the tourney over with, so he made a couple greedy moves and just kind of threw the game. Which, you know, although it may be true, I don't give a shit. I mean, I took down Tiger, and I've got a good chance against Cryo now to, you know, make a splash. And he goes for the snowball, but he doesn't snowball the DK, which is super interesting. I actually tested this in Sandbox, and you aim the snowball like right here-ish, just toward the DK's face pretty much, not with much power. I tested it several times, and I got the DK to 3 health and 11 health. The higher, the more power you use, the less damage it'll do to the Dark Knight, because the snowballs, the snowflakes just go right through the Dark Knight, right? They don't actually do damage. If you softly tap it, you just, like I said, you just tap your mouse, the the DK goes down to 3 health. I tested that like 3 times and went down to 3 health in all those situations. So maybe the snowball to the DK is not so trivial. And it's possible he knew that, but also possible he just said, you know, I don't really have any other moves because my gate is down. And that DK charge did like 200 plus, huge damage. Awesome play. And I'll actually show you guys where did I aim that DK charge real fast. Because it's something that I learned recently and watching some of Gull's games. He uses DK a lot. So, oh, I actually went one turn too late. So we'll go back here and I'll show you guys. This was a pretty sick charge, and at this point I was like, dang, I can do this. I'm making a huge splash in this tournament. And, you know, getting some redemption after my Miley game. So, yeah, it may seem a little bit counterintuitive. It's like, oh, I can just, and in fact, I'll just take over. I can just walk this down and, charge straight up. But it actually does a lot of damage, and I don't know exactly if there's a difference playing this in the replay or a sandbox versus actual games. But I know that sometimes when I do charges, they don't do nearly as much damage as they would in a real game scenario. Like I tried this and I pretty much aimed it exactly where I did in the game, and he does not go down nearly to 16 health. So I don't know exactly what happened there, but also, yeah, I guess kind of a fun fact. If he was at 16 health and he had 14 prot, that charge did how much? 248? Goodness. Yeah, that's crazy. Or did that do a clean 250? Almost. Anyway, super crazy, because he has, what, 264 health? And he goes down to 16. So yeah, 264 minus 16 is, yeah, 248. That's almost a perfect charge that I did there. What you do, so you just aim. Sometimes you can aim straight up. Here I want to make a little bit of contact with his body, so I just aim slightly to the left. And there you see it does, he goes down to 91. And I've tested it a lot, and it doesn't really do, that much different damage every time I kind of tested it in the replay. But when I did it in game, I pretty much aimed in the exact same spot, and he went down to 16. So I'm not sure what to tell you there, but that's your basic principle in how to move that DK to do the maximum amount of damage. You can see also you can compare if I just do it straight up, it's also good. Like right there, just in between the 8 and the 5. Yeah, okay, he goes down to 35, a little bit more comparable to what I did in the game. But yeah, it may seem, again, counterintuitive because you're not really charging through the player's center. But you think about it, if you charge through the player's center, the DK is going to move past the player. Part of its charge is just going to be spent going through land. So you want the maximum amount of time that the DK spends charging through the player themselves, rather than land or other obstacles. So long story short, I get this DK out. He's unable to teleport or do anything. He has to snowball in response because he has no gate. He gains some health due to his blood bank, but I'm able to swarm him, BFTP, and then get the Drain Bolt off for the win. So super interesting game, and he had a early game which was super turn efficient. Turn efficiency is very big in early game 60-second matches. Basically what that means is he's able to do so many subtle things like jump the blood bank on the border, kill one of my minions with the storm shield, or in this case hit me with the storm shield into my swarm, do 15 extra damage on his turn, 15 extra damage on my turn, deflight me. I mean, it's just a total cluster. He's able to like squeeze 8 turns into one with all that like impressive microplay that he had. And partly due to my misplays, but also I just didn't quite know what he had in the book, and I summoned that swarm a little bit too close. I think if I summon it further away, it's a lot different of an early game, and maybe it would play out a little bit differently in that case. Of course, I still got the win, and it was a super close match. I will go on to face either Harp or Zartak. We'll see who ends up winning that match, and that will surely be a good game, and I will probably end up uploading it because I've been following this Season 17 Open for the last couple matches. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more of this type of content. And as usual, drop a comment for any content suggestions or feedback, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.